So I'll give an example. If you think of something like Eine kleine Nachtmusik by Mozart, we get this. That's the first theme. And then the second theme ends up being this. It's about a minute later or so into the music. And the idea of those two contrasting themes, is that you have a bold statement theme that opens the piece, and then the second theme is meant to be something in a different key that modulates, usually to the dominant key, but not always, that is a little bit more lyrical, a little bit more song-like, and then the two themes get into a wrestle with each other and have a bit of a wrestling match and develop, and then we have a recapitulation where the main first theme comes back. I love sonata form, so I always get very excited when I talk about it. And then, this is the genius of sonata form. Like, this is incredible. Then what happens is the composer then brings the second theme in again, but this time doesn't modulate, stays in the same key. And that gives the feeling that the music has to end, and then there's a coda and it ends. So the first time, the first theme is in... So I'll give you an example, another example. Beethoven's Fifth. Beethoven was big on massive variation. So the first theme of Beethoven's Fifth is this. Does that for a little while, a minute or so, and then the second theme, he modulates into a major key. I mean, so it's a real extreme variation between those two themes. They get into a wrestling match with each other, and then it recapitulates for the end. The dare that I've been given here is I'm going to improvise an allegro sonata form piece. But you're going to give me the melodies, and you're going to give me some pop songs, some famous pop songs of, today or yesterday or whenever, as the main melodies. So I really need two pop songs that just juxtapose. Am I saying the word right? Just juxtapose each other. One is going to be bold, and one is going to be more lyrical, perhaps, or just different. It doesn't have to be bold versus lyrical. They just have to be different to each other. And I'm going to try and weave a sonata out of it. So I'm going to take your requests. Okay, so Chris has suggested girls just want to have fun. God, do I even remember how that theme goes? I'm sure I do. Don't like Mondays. Hallelujah. That's a great song. Please keep the suggestions rolling, because I'm just now working this out in my head. That's Girls Just Want to Have Fun. I have a feeling that's going to be the first theme. That's that theme. What other themes do we have? More suggestions. The more choice I've got, the better. Bohemian Rhapsody. Oh, there's so many themes in Bohemian Rhapsody. But that's Don't Stop Believing. The Show Must Go On. Ooh, this is getting interesting. Let It Be, Bat Out of Hell. Okay, The Show Must Go On. We could have a minor key allegro sonata form. All right. Okay, I think I've decided. We're going to have The Show Must Go On fused with... I don't know why I do this to myself. The Show Must Go On fused with Girls Just Want to Have Fun in an allegro sonata form. Oh, gosh. All right. So let me get my thoughts together here. Well, the bold theme out of those two is definitely The Show Must Go On. And, well, the show must go on indeed. So I'm going to put this microphone aside and wish me luck. Well, I survived. But I hope, actually, seriously speaking, despite all of the silliness there, if you know those two tunes, it's actually a really useful way to help you understand what sonata form is, because you've got a context now. What I've just done is a context of sort of what sonata form is, in a, not in, off the cuff, certainly without any of the level of finesse that, the Beethovens and the Mozarts bring sonata form. But if you just now listen to a little bit of, listen to a Beethoven movement from the first movement from a Beethoven symphony or a Mozart symphony, listen to something like the 40th or 41st symphony over the weekend, and you will be able to start actually identifying these pivots in the melody. You got the first melody, the attention bold melody that brings the attention to the piece, the lyrical second melody where it changes key, and then the two melodies sort of wrestling with each other, and then the recapitulation where those two melodies come together in the same key to finish the piece off. I think it is one of the great structures of music, is allegro sonata form. So I always love to jam around in it. I hope to actually compose a couple of big, large orchestral pieces, which I'm still wrestling with, that are not improvised in this form, because you can write a 30-minute movement in that same form. You could even write a 5-minute movement, and some of the Haydn works are quite short. He manages to summarize sonata form in just 4 or 5 pages, whilst the Mahlers and the Beethoven in such long forms as well. So there's quite a lot that can be done with that form. I'm just seeing if there's any questions that I need to answer here. Actually, there is a really good question from Katie. What keys did you move between? So I did The Show Must Go On in C minor, and then when I went to Girls Just Want to Have Fun, I did that in E flat major, the relative major, which is sort of a very classical construct of when it's in a minor key, starting in a minor, then relative major for the second melody. The part of the music that was unstable, where it was changing key a lot, was the development section, where the melodies wrestle with each other a bit. And so that usually in an allegro sonata form is the moment where the music is really moving around and changing key a lot, is in the development section. So that's where I moved to lots of different keys, and I wouldn't even remember what I did. And then when I went back to the recapitulation, I then did The Show Must Go On, of course, in C minor again. But the beauty of sonata form is you finish in the home key. So then I did Girls Just Want to Have Fun in C minor, and it gave that feeling that that the piece was about to end. And then I just ended on a whole bunch of C minors and dominant sevens, very Beethoven like. So yeah, so that was the key scheme that I sort of had to calculate to do that. And those of you who compose music, I know a few of you love to compose music, and you can try writing music in that format. It's just a really lovely way to organize your musical ideas to the structure of sonata form. And it's when you get used to the feel of it, you start, okay, I can write a theme that's attention grabbing, and then I can slowly move it into a more gentle second theme. And by the way, there's no rules with that. You could reverse that, and some composers do. So it just gives you a couple of extra ideas and inspiration.
And if you're interested in receiving world-class quality piano coaching that will really solve the challenges in your piano playing, it doesn't matter where in the world you are, whether it's our online coaching programs or coaching via our studios, I know that our team will have the answer to your challenges and the solutions that are required to get you to the next level in your piano journey. So why not reach out to us via our website, contemporaryschoolofpiano.com, and we look forward to hearing from you and solving your musical challenges. Most importantly, enjoy the music, have some fun, try new things, improvise, jam, think of new ideas, and see where that gets you. See you soon.